everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom and I have just witnessed Leeds United 2, Ipswich 0, a result that puts Leeds top of the league and Ipswich bottom of the league. This wasn't as depressing as QPR on Saturday. I'll start the video by saying that, but we weren't close and this is what happened. Leeds lining up, interesting formation this. Peacock, Farrell in goal. Calvin Phillips is basically playing, he's a centre midfielder, he's basically playing sweeper, which I found interesting. Berardi and Cooper in front of him, or kind of beside him in a back three, but it's very clear that Phillips' role is to be a playmaker out from the back. Down the right hand side was Ayling, Alioski down the left. I'm sure I saw him play much further forward last season. Klitsch is holding in midfield with Hernandez off to the right, Saiz, Harrison off to the left, Kemar Roof up front. Ipswich, wow, 7 changes. Had the looks of a last throw of the dice by Paul Hurst. He ditches his preferred 4-2-3-1 and Białkowski comes in for Gherkin. Spence comes in at right back. Chambers obviously keeps his place, the captain. Pennington moves across to centre half for Nsiala. He is dropped. Knudsen comes back in at left back. A flat midfield forward, straight 4-4-2. We just haven't seen it this straightforward all season. Nolan, right midfield, Downs and Skews in centre midfield, and from nowhere, in from the cold, Teo Eden. And we get the front two that a lot of Ipswich fans have been wanting, or not necessarily the two players, but two bodies up there, Jackson and Sears up front. So Hurst throwing it up in the air. Either he's got a plan for this 3-game week, or it's his last throw of the dice as manager. We shall see. On 2 minutes, Białkowski, he started a little bit nervously, had his kick. Someone comes and charges it down. It flies up in the air. Roof, ambitious volley, flies way over. That wouldn't have been a nice way for Białkowski to come back in. Nolan is very late on Saiz, proper forward-thinking player's tackle. That one, he takes a yellow card sort of within the first 5 minutes. Alioski goes down the left, low cross in. Białkowski spills it, and it's scrambled clear. So you can see he's just a little bit rusty, given he hasn't played since, what was the game before Norwich? Sheffield Wednesday away, I guess. Ipswich now have a good period, and we've had this season. Ipswich is going to have a good period until they concede the opening goal. So on 15, it's big ball into the channel for Sears to chase. He gets taken down. It's a yellow for Berardi. Eden swings the free kick in. Pennington wins it at the back post. He's only 6 yards out, but he's more engaged in winning the aerial battle than kind of powering towards the goal. He's kind of running sideways on and can't get any power on the header, and it's straight at Peacock. Farrell on 19, lovely ball slipped down the line. Nolan crosses it, takes a flick off the defender on the near post, which diverts it just away from Teo Eden, who's filtered in from the left wing position. Knudsen keeps it alive, does well actually, ends up at Nolan, and he trickles the shot away from 20 yards. 20 minutes, Berardi goes through Sears right in front of the dugouts on a yellow card, and bit of a pattern here. The ref was quite lenient with that one. We saw Teo Eden do exactly the same thing and get sent off earlier in the season. So lucky boy Berardi. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, okay, Białkowski looked a bit nervous to begin with, everything's settled and the territory belongs to Ipswich, but quite against the run of play, it has to be said. Not over the whole game, but just for those 5-6 minutes when Ipswich moved forward. Leeds take the lead. It's spread out wide for Hernandez, and I just think there's a fatal mistake in this goal as Hernandez picks it up. Instead of going to engage him, Knudsen takes, 2-3 steps back, the left back, and points at Teo Eden and says, come cover me, I'm going to back off. Eden does what he's asked to, but in the time it takes him to get there, Hernandez takes a couple of paces forward, puts in a really, really lovely cross, right-footed, swazzes it right across there. Pennington loses Roof. It's good. It's a good cross, and I guess you'd say good movement, pulling off the back of his man, and it's a free header, 6 yards out. I think he just gets as much on it as he can because Białkowski thinks he's going to direct it to his right. He doesn't, and he gets a hand on it, and it goes into the net. So, yeah, a lot of ways that could have gone differently. I just think if you defend on the front foot, Knudsen goes straight out and engages Hernandez and stops that cross rather than passing him on to Theo Eden. So 1-0 to Leeds. Dallas comes in for Berardi here. He takes a knock, but he's a bit of a red card risk at this point. So they do this. I must admit, Leeds don't have Pontus Jansson, so they're really struggling to kind of create. Maybe that's why Phillips was in there just covering as well. Lack of centre half cover here. So Ayling ends up playing centre half now, and Stuart Dallas comes into play. Wing back out to Hernandez again, and again Knudsen doesn't engage him. This time it's a lovely low cross here, gives everyone in the box the eyes and slides it out to the back. Saiz is coming in from the 10 position, free shot, but can't direct the finish. Downs dives in. Goodness me, he takes a yellow. He really goes in, and Cole skews his reaction as he goes in. He holds his head, the ref gives a yellow, and then Skews immediately pulls Downs away and talks to him. So I think from Skews' point of view, probably telling Downs to calm down, and he may have been a touch lucky there with the old excessive force. Short corner from Leeds, more of them later. Gets to Alioski, puts it over from the left. Spence, he's in the right position, but he gets a pretty foolhardy touch on it, which wrong foots literally everybody. All the defenders are moving onto their front foot, and then it kind of goes back the opposite direction. Saiz shoots it, but it gets blocked out. On 43, Knudsen absolutely smashes Saiz here, but does not get booked. So, half-time, really the story of this without any hint of bias. Leeds on the front foot for the first 10 minutes. Ipswich settle in for the next 10, start to push forward and create a couple of little openings, and then whilst Ipswich have moved up the pitch, it's a quick direct ball out wide and a bit of a counter-attack goal actually from Leeds, and they take the lead slightly against the run of play. The rest of the half probably then belongs to Leeds, but it's a bit of an interesting tactical thing because Leeds very keen to play out on the floor from the back. Obviously everything's going through Phillips, but because Ipswich have 2 forwards on today, they drop Sears and Jackson drop back, and pretty much Ipswich have 10 outfield players behind Leeds playmakers. So really the only joy Leeds got were these, and we saw this from Wolves last year, these diagonal balls across and switching the play, and that's where the main part of their joy comes from. Don't worry, Leeds fans, it's a different story in the second half. 49, Knudsen gets his yellow card 5 minutes late. He takes Hernandez out, who looked a bit stiff afterwards there. Alioski forward across to Dallas, who screws that one wide from 20 yards. So Bielsa makes 2 substitutions now, 10 minutes into the second half. Forshaw comes in for Saiz. Pearce comes in for Harrison. So Forshaw's going to sit now, and Klitsch moves a bit forward. I have to say Klitsch was a bit lost in the first half. I've been looking forward to seeing him play, but I think his midfield partner Phillips had been put 15 yards behind him, and I think possibly he suffered a bit from that. Leeds fans, let me know if I'm right about that. Knudsen, lucky here, takes ball and man on Ayling. One of those where it's just a bit too aggressive in 2018, and you often see a yellow card. But a consistent referee, we have to say, on that thing. He didn't send Berardi off, he didn't send Knudsen off. Both made foul tackles on yellow cards, so stricter refs we've seen send people off. They're on 60. Knudsen, I don't know what I'm talking about. Ipswich don't clear their lines 3 times from a corner. Ends up with Dallas kind of skewing a half volley deflected into the side netting there. Ward comes in for Theo Eden. So Ward He's going to play down the right, and Nolan then switches over to the left-hand side. They stick with a 4-4-2. Hernandez gets forward again, engages Knudsen. Kind of half-cross, half-shot here. Białkowski's hand comes out, tips it wide, and the next 5 seconds are absolutely vital, because over go Leeds to take the corner, and Ipswich just completely fall asleep. It goes short to Hernandez. We've seen short corners in this game. This is just poor game management from Ipswich, and I keep banging on about it in the Championship. Set plays, every single game someone scores or concedes a set play, and you either want to be on the good side of that or on the bad side of that. And I bet you'll find a lot of the strong teams are the ones on the good side of this, and it's quite straightforward in the Championship. There's not much in a lot of these games, and set plays are vital. Ipswich do not do this well. The short corner gets played in to Hernandez, and he's actually allowed to run into the box. Nobody with him. He puts it across on the floor. Forgive me, I was caught out by the short corner too, but I'm not a professional footballer and I'm not on the pitch, so that's allowed. So I don't know who stepped over it as Hernandez rolls it back. Someone steps over it. It's on the floor. Cooper, probably the biggest threat from a corner in terms of aerially, so you'd expect someone to be near him. You know, even if you're expecting the corner to come in, they're not. He opens up his body. It's a really nice finish, actually. Hits it right-footed and it flies in the top corner. No chance for Białkowski. Just asleep. Just poor fundamentals from Ipswich. You know that guy in the Sunday League team that just says, wake up from every corner, everybody get ready. Nobody did that, and these are pros, but they're bottom of the league and there's no confidence, evidently. 75, Nolan, poor pass out. Phillips pounces on it, feeds Alioski. Touch, gets it out of his feet, smashes it with the left foot. It's flying past Białkowski. It's going in the top corner, smashes off the inside of the post. Really unlucky from Alioski there. Next place, Hernandez has a shot deflected out from a corner. Ayling wins the header from the corner. And what you see now is Ipswich's heads. They're gone now for this last 15 minutes, and it's all Leeds, and it's a case of, are they going to put number 3 on or number 4 on? Edwards comes in for Sears, so maybe some admission from Hurst here. Let's get another body in midfield here and go to my standard one up front. Skews, Daly's on it, 25 yards out. Ends up with Forshaw. Good right footer from him, sort of 22 yards out. It's flying in the corner. Good save, Białkowski. And well, I'll talk about positives at the end if there are any. 81, it's getting embarrassing now because the Ipswich players want the final whistle to go. They don't want the ball. They're going to take their time over everything. And it's skews on the previous one. Chambers this time. He kind of gets knocked off it by Alioski. He's totally clean through into the corner of the area. Białkowski stands up really well, makes a good save. So we've seen him dropped from the team. It's nice to see him back making those 2 saves. It's not nice to see him ritually saving Ipswich again, but we haven't seen him for a while, and he's an excellent goalie. Leeds press well again. Alioski puts it across. Roof pokes it on the volley on the right foot. Białkowski's not saving this. He's watching it, and it flies just by the post. Unlucky from Roof there. Białkowski well beaten. Ipswich actually have a chance here to get it back to 2-1. Big ball forward. Nolan finds himself in the right-hand corner of the box, takes a touch. Not bad shot here. It's a difficult angle, and he works Peacock Farrell. But remember, now we have 1 up front, not 2, and Jackson cannot follow it in. Peacock Farrell pushes it out. Chalobah comes in. Leeds fans very amused by his haircut, whatever floats your boat, and finishes out the game, and Leeds get the win 2-0. So let's talk about Leeds first. And it's always difficult to tell when you have a team at the top against the team at the bottom. You wonder if the team at the top has a second gear and a third gear, and you wonder if they're just doing what they need to beat the lower team. Leeds weren't as good as I expected them to be. They didn't have to be. I think that had Phillips been just further forward and it was a 4-2-3-1, then I think they would have won that game more easily. I think everything would have been 10 yards further forward, because really their kind of go-to move was playing it around at the back. They had a lot of possession and they used the ball well, and I don't think they played it long once, which must be great to see from a Leeds fan's point of view. But it was then the switch of play, and you get this, like I mentioned Wolves last year, you get the wing back and the kind of wide forward doubling up, and it's a very dangerous thing if you can get it right. I'm not sure Bielsa's done that with Leeds this season with the three at the back, so again, Leeds fans, fill me in. The difference maker really was Hernandez. I know he's been out for a while, but he got both the assists. Knudsen at left back, frankly, was terrified of him. He's an excellent player, and I would think if he stays fit, Leeds are going to be doing well. But as you can see from their previous run, 2 wins in 9, I think he's a very important player for them. I also think from Leeds' point of view, I expected this kamikaze rock and roll football from them, and I think Ipswich slowed them down. I think Leeds are probably better suited to a team being a bit more intense and pushing onto them, so they can then play faster and pick them off. So maybe it was just a case for Leeds of get through it, get the win, which they did, and they've kept a clean sheet. So from Ipswich's point of view, I mean, what is there to say? Some people have said this is a freebie. You've got QPR this week, already lost that. You've got Leeds, concentrate on Millwall, although I'd be slightly worried if that was the case, and because it looks like a lot of the good players have actually come back in, and perhaps we'd want them to stay by Saturday. Look, it's rubbish. It's 1 win in 13. I have to say, this was better than QPR. QPR was pathetic and embarrassing, and Ipswich were nowhere near. Whereas this was a game where one team was better than the other team, but the less good team did give some kind of challenge and did have some kind of moments. Whereas Saturday against QPR was just non-existent, and an average team was made to look very, very much better. Nice to see Białkowski back. Same old Bart, really. He was a bit nervous for the first 10 minutes. Kicking, not great, but when has it ever been? But then at the end, you see the big Pole back to his best. Great save from Forshaw and standing up to deny Alioski. That's good. The one player who was actually good today was Pennington. And again, he comes across and plays centre-half with Chambers now in place of Nsiala. And I thought he was good. Although I know I'm going to get hit in the comments, he lost his man, he lost Roof for the goal. So, in the vital moment, but maybe that cross shouldn't have come in the first place. So I thought Pennington was good. I think they look a lot better balanced with Knudsen at left back and a right back, Donacien or Spence. I think most people would prefer Donacien, but Spence didn't play badly today. That one that ricocheted off him, but he wasn't. The goals didn't come down his side. Put it that way. Eden showed moments just in midfield. They're just a little bit overrun, as they have been in most games. And Downs can't really seem to put a game together this season. Jackson and Sears feeding off scraps, and a lot of the time making the same arcing runs forward didn't particularly work well. So I think in the bigger picture, everybody hears all the rumours. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens either in the next couple of days before Millwall, or whether Millwall is the big game for Paul Hurst. It can't continue like this with the results, but I will say the spirit was non-existent on Saturday, and today they were at least not miles and miles away from Leeds. But I say this about Ipswich all the time under Hurst, they're not hard to score against, and then once that second goal goes in, then the heads did drop and Leeds could have got the third or the fourth. So, interesting few days ahead. A lot of people have their minds made up about what's going to happen. I'll keep a watching brief, let's just say. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you're a Leeds fan, what are the expectations? How important is Hernandez for you, and can you now go on a good run now he and Roof are back in the team? Ipswich fans, what the hell's going to happen in the next 3 days? Does Hurst make it to Millwall? And if he does he have that game to save his job? Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. Thumbs up, subscribe, comment. Any opinions are welcome. If you disagree with me, great. Just be civil. Doesn't take much. We're grown adults here. Thank you for watching. I'm off to drive home now and get home at fuck off o'clock in the morning. All for my team, the things we do. See you soon, bye.